What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Clint from the DieHardMMA podcast, chilling here, just enjoying some NHL degenerate hockey action before the fights kick off UFC Vegas 20. And I had a request to do like a little live stream or a little hangout, something like that, to kind of wrap up some final thoughts before the event kicks off here, because so much craziness has gone on, and I don't normally do these. I'm not going to go live with pub or anything like that today, just going to be chilling here at home with the family. So I thought, what the heck, let's go ahead and have a final thought, and I just wanted to run through everything that happened here at the end. So first fight, light heavyweight, Dustin Jacoby taking on Maxime Grishin. I've passed. I've decided to just go ahead and stick with the pass. I thought about playing the over with the weight miss and the extra weight. I thought about playing Maxime Grishin, and I just couldn't get there. This is such a low-level heavyweight or light heavyweight bum fight. You know, Jacoby's got such a striking advantage. I could see him calf kick the shit out of Grishin and then, immobilize him and hurt him and put him away in the first or second round. But I could see Grishin just being too big, too strong, using the small cage and then dragging this thing out late. I could see Dustin gassing. I mean, anything could happen in this fight. So if you're rolling with the dog, or if you're taking Jacoby inside the distance, get a plus line. As long as you're getting a plus line, I don't think you're in a bad spot. And then that over 2.5 might be the best play on this fight. But again, this whole card is just so sketchy. Like, I'm really uncomfortable with the amount of action that I have on this card at this point, because I do not like hardly anything about it, and I think it's going to be a wild one where something crazy happens, and more than one. I think multiple crazy things are going to happen, and all of us are going to be like, why did we not see that? Like, it was right there, but we didn't catch it. So it's going to be an interesting one for sure. Bantamweight, Vince Cachero taking on Ronnie Lawrence. I'm on Vince Cachero. Again, that's another one I'm kind of a little uncomfortable with. I like Factory X. We'll see what happens. I'm not hedging off of it or anything like that. I'm going to roll with my read here. I got on that one early, so I'm just hoping I made the right call and I'm on the right side. Lawrence has got to prove it to me. I don't think he's deserving to be a favorite at this point yet, so we'll see. Women's bantamweight, Sabina Mazo. I still like my little half-unit shot on inside the distance at plus 400. I think she's got a live opportunity here to get the finish. I did sprinkle Sabina Mazo round 3 at 1750. So that'll be a nice little payout if she gets it done late the way she did in her last fight. And like I said, I think the extra 10 pounds, the extra weight, I think that'll be something that aids her more than her opponent, Davis. Even though Davis has, more experience at 135, I think that Mazo is going to be the one who ends up getting it done. If it's a finish in round 3, obviously the inside the distance cashes and the round 3 cashes. That's the ideal circumstance, but we'll see what happens. Davis could cause a problem here. There's been some sharp money coming in on her. That line has been basically getting hit since it opened, and it's getting shorter just because there's a lot of sharp people out there recognizing that Davis has a big step down in competition in front of her. So again, that's why I didn't go like super hard on Mazo. I'm not going, I'm not laying the minus 250 on her or whatever it is. I'm just going to take that little inside the distance shot. Alexander Hernandez, Thiago Moises. Oh, I threw Hernandez inside the distance in my little Hail Mary parlay. I threw that little sprinkle in there. I faded Thiago Moises with Bobby Green, and I think Alexander 2.0 is better than Bobby Green, and I thought Bobby Green had a shot to knock out Moises, and we saw Moises get hurt by MJ, who is no longer in the UFC. I know that guy has fast hands and he hits really hard, but his power has really dipped off late in his career, so I'm starting to go back on this and be like, why didn't I believe Hernandez could KO Moises? Why suddenly do I think that Moises has a chin when the last couple guys he's fought are really decision machines, and he almost got flatlined in the first round? It wouldn't shock me if Hernandez returned to his old ways here and got a first-round knockout and is just coming hot and heavy for the light heavyweight division again after this one. He's much bigger. He's more explosive. He hits harder. He's the better wrestler. I mean, unless Moises is able to drag him out late and then get this thing to the ground, use his BJJ, I think that's really his only path. And I was almost tempted to lay the big wood on Alexander Hernandez late on this one. I don't want to do that just because I need to see those improvements before I actually pay that price tag for him. But if he made the improvements that I'm assuming that he made, he's gonna look like a minus 500 in this spot. So I'm still very heavily leaning Alexander Hernandez. He's just burned me too many times in the past to trust him. Like I said, I almost thought about doing another little half unit inside the distance shot. Shit, I could bet basically every fight on the board at this point. There's only 9 fights on this entire card. We lost Angela Hill versus Yoder. That sucks. I had the round 3 sprinkle there. That's gone and out the window, which I really liked that spot, so that's unfortunate for me. But that's one that we warned everybody not to parlay. It was going to get close. It was going to get hairy. So it may be the best option if we were going to lose any fight on this card. Maybe that's the one that we can afford not to see. You know what I mean? The line didn't have a ton of value or opportunity on it from any side, unless you were on the Yoder side and you felt like it was mispriced. Obviously, that could be an argument. If featherweight, Alex Caceres, Kevin Kroom, y'all know I'm already on Kroom. I've got a half unit on Kroom by submission, and the Philadelphia Flyers just scored 2-0, baby. That's what I'm talking about. Degenerate Saturday. I'm looking for some cash. So I'm on Kroom. I still like Kroom here. The only concern for me is I don't like the public dog. I don't like when the entire world agrees with me, and that's what we got right here is Caceres is just kind of being counted out, and that's when he shows up and he shows everybody he's a world-class talent. Even though he's scraping the bottom of the barrel in the UFC, he is still in the UFC and has held that job. So a little bit nervous, still like Kevin. I get spooked whenever everybody agrees with me. And that brings me to really the big late edition here on Saturday. I pulled the trigger on Pedro Munoz. I know y'all are going to be so frustrated with me. I bounced back and forth on this one. Last time they matched up, I picked and bet Pedro Munoz. Then they got, that one got called off, so I didn't get to keep my money on that. Thought I dodged a bullet, talked to a bunch of people, got talked into Jimmy Rivera, told you all on the Monday podcast I was leaning Jimmy Rivera because at that point that I was. And then if you saw the Friday after the weigh-in show, I talked about how I flopped back over to Munoz and somehow something inside of me is just telling me Munoz. I didn't like what I saw from Jimmy on the scales. The sunglasses is always a red flag to me. And I've decided that I'm just going to stick with my gut. I'm going to go with my initial read. I'm going to trust myself. I'm going to trust my first thought, my first instinct, and I'm going to pull the trigger. I got plus 125 on Pedro Munoz. It's not the best spot in the world, obviously. Like I said, I've been flip-flopping on this one. I think this is a 50-50 fight. Pedro hits harder. He's got more avenues to secure a finish here, so because of that, he's a bit more dangerous. And I think the perception of him is low because of that Frankie Edgar fight, so I'm just going to shut up and take the shot. I've gone for it, and I will go down with the chip. This is one of those ones that I'm willing to put my money where my mouth is. I know I've made some mistakes. I know I've misled a couple people by flip-flopping on this one, so I do apologize for that, but I'm going down with the ship. I'm taking Pedro Munoz. Women's flyweight for the nearly co-main event here. Montana De La Rosa taking on Mayra Bueno Silva. I'm not budging on this one. I'm already on Montana De La Rosa. I like that spot. I broke that one down. I didn't... the only thing that kind of spooked me was the size advantage for Silva. And, same thing. I'm just going to go down with the ship on this one. I like the Montana De La Rosa side. I think she's absolutely the right side at the dog price. She's live in this spot, both on the feet and on the mat. Stylistic matchup is good for her. I just hope she doesn't get out-powered in this one. That's the only concern I really have. And then... on the co-main and main event, I'm not budging on either of these either. There's been a lot of love for Nikita Krylov, which we talked about. That line is wide. We talked about that, maybe it should be a little bit closer. So I totally understand the money coming in on Nikita here, and I don't think that's a bad bet if you're getting him around that plus 300 range or plus 250, whatever it was earlier in the week. Magomed Ankalaev, I still think that he's going to manage to pull this out, but I'm going to rely on the toughness, the durability of Krylov. I've got that over 1.5, and then I've got the Magomed by decision at plus 275. Nice big fat score that, we're taking all plus lines this week. There's only the minus 155 for the over 1.5 is like the only favorite that I'm on this entire damn card. So if we get behind, if we miss a couple of these shots, we've got some bailout options later in the night. So I like doing that. I like having that opportunity to, come from behind if things don't go our way early, that kind of situation. With these big, gigantic plus lines, all we need to hit is just a couple of these. We hit 2 or 3 spots. It doesn't matter if we lose 4 other spots because the plus money's going to cover it. So we just need to have a nice little back and forth type of night with the bookies tonight. And then heavyweight, I thought the line was wide. We beat the line movement. We're on Jairzinho. More and more uncomfortable with that one just because of the size of Ciryl Gane. But again, I got to just trust my gut, and we got to go with the experience. He's way more experienced both in MMA and in kickboxing. So Gane, if he does get this thing to the mat, I'm not going to be excited about it. I'm not going to be happy about it. But as long as this thing stays striking, Jairzinho is always going to be available for that knockout. And the reason I didn't go ahead and pull the trigger on the overs, I thought about the overs, I talked about the overs, but I decided not to pull the trigger on those overs is because I am betting Jairzinho. The fact that I'm on the guy with the second most death touch in UFC history means that this fight could end at any time. I know there's a chance it goes over. I already said that there's a chance it goes all the way to the judges' scorecards, all 5, and I was tempted to play Rozenstruik by decision at plus 1100, but the fact of the matter is Jairzinho could make Ciryl Gane pay just like Derek Lewis did for an early takedown way early in the fight. He's got power early, he's got power middle, he's got power late. So I don't want to put myself in a spot where, let's say Jairzinho does get it done. Yeah, that's a nice plus 225 casher, but I give away a unit, or I give away 2 units because I bet the over 2.5 and the over 3.5 and got a little cocky. I mean, I'm all over this card already. It's a sketchy card. It's one I don't need to have this much action on, and I shouldn't have this many bets on. The last thing I need to do is load up on a sketchy main event that could go either way and have 3-4 units exposed on it. So that's the reason I ended up passing on those. I'm just going to take the 1 unit shot on Jairzinho. I'm just going to take the spot where I feel like the line is wide. We'll cross our fingers for a big knockout, and then we don't have to sweat against ourselves. We don't have to worry about that early knockout, splitting our profits in half because we played the over 2.5 to go with it. So there you go, everybody. Those are your final thoughts for UFC Vegas 20. I will go ahead and read off my card here for you one more time. I've got Vince Cachero plus 145, Kevin Kroom plus 190, a half unit by sub at plus 450, Mazo inside the distance at plus 400 for a half unit. Pulled the trigger on Pedro Munoz at plus 125. I like that I waited and I got a slightly better line there. Montana De La Rosa at plus 120, Krylov and Ankalaev over 1.5 at minus 155. Ankalaev by decision for 1 unit at plus 275, which I really like the value on that line. And then Jairzinho Rozenstruik at plus 230. Like I said, lots of plus lines. Sprinkle on Mazo at plus 1750, and then of course the lottery tickets. The first one for a quarter unit, Kroom by sub, Mazo inside the distance, Ankalaev by decision. That's plus 10212. So big line there, big score, looking for that one. And then the parlay that had Angela Hill in it, that's been reduced. It's now just Mazo inside the distance with Hernandez by knockout or TKO, and that parlay is plus 1950. So another little quarter unit on that one. It's only 2 legs now, so it's got a better shot to hit, I guess. It's not as much of a lottery ticket as I would like, but hey, there go the Flyers scoring, making it 3-0. Let's have a freaking day. Hopefully this is a good sign for everything else to come. Good luck as always, everybody. I'm chilling here on Twitter for the day. I'm just watching some hockey, enjoying myself, and I'm going to get started studying for next week's event. So if you have any questions, feel free to throw a tweet at me. And like I said, everybody keep in mind it's us against the bookies. So if you're on the opposite side from me, this is a sketchy card. You can argue for a fighter on either side of basically every single one of these fights. So no matter what happens, good luck, have fun, be safe. Let's drink, let's make some cash, and I will see you guys online later.